everyone. Welcome to Tesla Shorts Time, episode 555. I'm Patrick in Vancouver. Today is July 28th, 2026. Here's what you need to know about Tesla today. Tesla locked in 90% of an Arizona solar plus storage project to power its growing AI inference clusters. Tesla began pushing FSD v14 Lite version 2022.20.6.11 to a larger share of HW3 cars in the United States and Canada. The update came after a bug fix point release following a limited wave that started on July 21. It merges firmware with the HW4 branch at 2026.20.6.11, giving HW3 cars the latest distilled features available on newer hardware. Roughly 18% of the HW3 fleet in the US and Canada had received the update by the latest tracking snapshot. HW3 vehicles will still trail HW4 capability due to compute limits on the larger model. Owners outside North America continue to wait for the update. Tesla's head of AI had previously announced version 2026.20.6.10 before the quick bug fix iteration. Now the focus shifts from software progress on existing vehicles to the production headaches still constraining new hardware like the Cybertruck. Tesla filed suit against a Cybertruck component supplier that is allegedly withholding tooling and holding production hostage. The dispute centers on owned dies and fixtures the supplier refuses to release without additional daily payments. Production of the vehicle remains constrained while the legal process plays out. The supplier is accused of demanding ongoing fees to hand over equipment that Tesla already owns. That manufacturing constraint highlights Tesla's broader need for reliable power at scale. Tesla has locked in 90% of the output from a KKR-backed solar and battery installation in Arizona to support its expanding inference workloads. The deal reflects the shift from GPU stockpiling to securing megawatts of dedicated renewable capacity. Construction and interconnection timelines will determine when the power reaches Cortex clusters. Danny Naz noted the 90% commitment in recent coverage. The project adds to earlier long-term power agreements Tesla has signed in the same state. Tesla and Tsla finalized a multi-year power purchase agreement for solar generation in Texas. The contract adds dedicated renewable supply to support both vehicle manufacturing and energy storage operations at Giga Texas. Details on capacity and pricing remain undisclosed. A separate report from ReNews confirmed the same Texas solar PPA signing. The agreement aligns with Tesla's broader push to pair solar generation with on-site storage needs. That power deal leads naturally into a closer look at why megawatts are becoming the new bottleneck. Power constraints now shape AI development more directly than chip counts. Tesla's decision to secure the bulk of an Arizona solar plus storage project shows the company treating megawatts as a scarce input that must be locked in years ahead of demand. The move mirrors how data center operators once raced for substations rather than servers. Securing dedicated renewable output also reduces exposure to utility rate volatility that can swing inference costs unpredictably. Traditional utilities plan generation around predictable load growth curves. Tesla's inference clusters create bursty, high-density demand that existing grids were not sized to serve at short notice. By contracting directly for dedicated renewable capacity, the company bypasses interconnection queues that can stretch 3 to 5 years for new transmission. The Arizona project therefore functions as both a capacity hedge and a timing advantage. The economics hinge on whether the secured power delivers lower effective cost per inference token than buying from the spot market or relying on grid upgrades paid for by all ratepayers. Deutsche Bank lowered its Tesla price target after concluding that unsupervised robotaxi progress has lagged internal timelines. The revision reflects slower regulatory and deployment milestones than previously modeled. Investors now await clearer production and approval dates. The bank specifically flagged lagging robotaxi advancement as the primary reason for the adjustment. That analyst adjustment arrives as investors press for proof that Tesla's AI pivot will generate returns. Analysts and shareholders want clearer unit economics on the shift from vehicles to autonomy and robotics. Coverage emphasizes that the company's valuation now rests heavily on future AI revenue streams rather than current auto margins. Recent earnings highlighted continued spending without corresponding near-term monetization. The market is watching for the first material external contracts or fleet deployments. The gap between investment pace and visible revenue remains the central point of discussion. Post-earnings stock weakness raises questions about next steps. Tesla shares fell after the latest results, prompting discussion on whether the company needs to accelerate non-auto programs or defend vehicle margins. Commentary focuses on the gap between heavy AI and robotics investment and current cash generation. Some observers argue the valuation already prices in successful robotaxi and Optimus outcomes. The next earnings update is expected to provide more granular spending guidance. The post-earnings drop has left investors recalibrating expectations for the balance between near-term auto results and longer-term AI bets. BYD announced its initial humanoid robot will be unveiled next month, directly entering the space Tesla has targeted with Optimus. The Chinese automaker's move adds another competitor to the race for low-cost general-purpose humanoids. No production timeline or target applications were disclosed. The debut is positioned as a direct response to Tesla's ongoing Optimus development. While competitors line up, Tesla's own robotics effort just took a small external step forward. Virtuix completed its first sale of specialized hardware to Tesla's Optimus program as part of an expanding AI and robotics strategy. The transaction marks an early external supplier relationship for the humanoid effort. Further volume or integration details were not released. The sale advances Virtuix's stated push into robotics hardware alongside its existing virtual reality products. External supplier momentum contrasts with the internal timeline warnings now coming from Musk himself. Elon Musk stated that both the robotaxi and humanoid robot programs face meaningful remaining hurdles before commercial scale. The comments temper earlier expectations for near-term unsupervised deployment and volume production. Investors are watching for updated milestones in upcoming earnings commentary. The remarks came in response to questions about whether current development pace matches prior public targets. Timeline caution pairs with fresh questions about how hard the FSD team has been pushed to meet those targets. Court filings quote a former Tesla manager stating that self-driving vehicle engineers were pushed so hard that test cars became rolling hazards on public roads. The complaint alleges excessive hours and inadequate oversight during rapid iteration cycles. Tesla has not yet responded publicly to the specific claims. The manager described vehicles operating without sufficient validation before being placed on public streets. Internal pressure stories sit alongside a new federal look at hardware safety. U.S. regulators launched a broad investigation into flush door handle designs after multiple Tesla models raised concerns about emergency exit performance. The review covers vehicle egress under power loss and crash conditions. Tesla has not disclosed any planned hardware changes. The probe examines whether the handles meet federal requirements for manual operation when primary power systems fail. Regulatory scrutiny on existing vehicles rounds out a week that also brought smaller but tangible customer updates. Reddit users posted photos of a Cybercab prototype fitted with a conventional steering wheel, suggesting ongoing development of a manually operable version. The images indicate Tesla is exploring retrofit paths for regulatory or testing flexibility. No official confirmation has been issued. The modifications appear on vehicles originally shown without steering wheels at the We Robot event. Tesla opened immediate delivery slots for the 6-seat Model Y variant in Australia after earlier allocation limits. The configuration adds a third-row bench to the existing 5-seat platform. Local pricing and availability windows remain listed on the configurator. The move follows earlier production adjustments that had restricted the 6-seat option in certain markets. The in-car assistant now supports expanded multilingual interaction directly through the vehicle interface. Tesla highlighted that Grok can handle more languages and sits more tightly inside the car's systems than before. The change broadens accessibility for non-English speakers without requiring phone pairing. Early users report smoother voice command handling in mixed language households. The update builds on prior Grok voice features already present in the infotainment stack. Cross-country records are now tracked by elapsed time rather than whether the drive is feasible. Tesla noted that the supervised system has advanced to the point where the limiting factor is speed, not capability. Community drivers are already posting new benchmark attempts. The shift shows how normalized long-distance autonomy has become for owners. Record attempts now focus on shaving minutes rather than proving the route can be completed at all. FSD supervised now feels ordinary to many owners. Tesla observed that the technology has crossed into the background of ownership, similar to other once novel conveniences. Owners report relying on it for routine commutes without second thought. The shift marks a quiet milestone in adoption. The feature now blends into everyday driving the way automatic transmissions once did for an earlier generation. Court documents quote a former manager describing engineers working such extreme hours that test vehicles posed hazards on public roads. The claims point to pressure from aggressive iteration schedules and limited oversight. Tesla has not yet addressed the specific allegations in the filing. The manager's statements describe vehicles being released for public testing before adequate validation cycles could be completed under the reported workload. Keep an eye on any updates from the federal probe into door handles as more details emerge. And that's a wrap on today's Tesla news. TSLA closed at $304.86, down $4.36, 1.4%. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating or review. It genuinely helps other Tesla fans find us. I'm Patrick in Vancouver. See you tomorrow. One more thing, if you liked today's episode, our sister show, First Principles Daily, is worth a spot in your feed. Reasoning from raw materials, not analogy, on the breakthroughs that actually cut cost. It's one of the Nara Network's daily briefings, all free at naranetwork.com. Live dashboards, TSLA, SpaceX launches, the investing scoreboard, are all at naranetwork.com/data. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.